Good morning. This is Orly Taitz, and this is Taitz Report. And today is October the 18th, and I wanted to provide an update in regards to Obama fraud cases dealing with Barack Obama's use of a stolen Connecticut Social Security number of Harrison J. Bonnell, as well as his use of fabricated IDs, fabricated birth certificate and fabricated Selective Service certificate, and his use of Indonesian citizenship. Well, first of all, I have submitted to the court, and Judge Lamberth in Washington, D.C. gave leave of court to file a new motion for reconsideration. That motion was filed in regards to Barack Obama's use of a stolen Social Security number. And originally, Judge Lamberth stated that he will not reconsider because of the 1-year limitation. However, there is a provision in FRCP Federal Rules of Civil Procedure stating that they can give you more than a year in case there are exceptional circumstances, and usurpation of U.S. presidency is definitely such a circumstance. Moreover, the employees of Social Security Administration simply defrauded the court, stating that they cannot provide information even though they knew that they could, because the person whose Social Security number we were looking for was born in 1890, and according to a 120-year rule, it had to be provided. Next, today, a response is being filed in a different case, and that's Taitz v. Donahue, and that's against Postmaster General and David Williams, Inspector General of the USPS. Why this case is being filed? Well, I have in front of me an affidavit, and I'm going to put it close to the camera. This is an affidavit of Jeffrey Stephen Kaufman, and it's certified, notarized affidavit, and it shows Barack Obama's alleged registration for Selective Service, and you can see closely, close to the camera, and look at the stamp here on the certification. The USPS stamp is supposed to have a 4-digit year. So if Barack Obama were to be registered in 1980, it would say 1980, and it's one stamp for that shows all 4 digits, and we don't see it on Barack Obama's registration. And according to Mr. Kaufman, who was a chief investigator for Special Investigations Unit of USPS, clearly somebody who has special knowledge, the whole registration is a forgery and the stamp is a fabricated stamp. I have submitted FOIA requests for more information from Selective Service registration. They did not provide anything. I also provided requests for information from USPS, and I have here the papers, and also you can see here that Inspector General has forwarded this to the fraud division. You can see close to the camera. My request was forwarded to the fraud division. They felt that this warrants investigation as fraud. And here there is another letter, and you can see that's a letter from USPS, United States Postal Service, and it shows here that the Inspector General demanded that the fraud division take action within 30 days. Well, this action was supposed to be taken in 2012. This letter was submitted it was submitted on June 29, 2012, and there is no action. There was, at least, they are refusing to respond to my follow-up FOIA request, Freedom of Information request, where I demanded to know, well, what was done. They demanded action within 30 days on this fabricated cancellation U.S. postal stamp. So I filed a case in court, and it was filed in June of this year, and the federal government had 60 days to respond. Typically, you have 3 weeks to respond, and federal government receives special consideration. They get 2 months to respond, and they did not respond. So I filed a motion seeking a judgment in my favor, specifically because the government defaulted and failed to respond. And I have provided the court with all of the receipts and receipts from certified mail. And this was sent to David Williams, to the Inspector General. You can see it was signed. And you can see here, this was sent to Postmaster General. It was signed, received, and this was sent to the U.S. Attorney's Office. U.S. Attorneys represent, Department of Justice represents federal officials, and you can see the signature, Eddie Hayes. So it was received, it was signed, and recently I got a phone call from Danielle Van Horn, who is the chief of the Civil Division of the Department of Justice, who stated that they did receive it because the post office shows that it was received, it was traced and received by certified mail to the U.S. Attorney's Office. But they're claiming that it somehow got misplaced. They don't know who got it. It was misplaced, and for 3 months they were looking for it and looking, and they could not find it. So what I did, I searched for other certified mail receipts from the U.S. Attorney's Office to see who signed, and here this went to the judge, and you can see that on top, this is the signature of the person who signed, in this case, Eddie Hayes, and here are 2 other cases, and you can see that in each and every case, the same person who signs is the same clerk, Eddie Hayes. So it's just, it's ridiculous. It's just not true, the allegation by the Department of Justice that they looked for 3 months, they couldn't find. Why would they look for 3 months? All they had to do is go to the same clerk, Eddie Hayes, who signed for the papers, and ask him, where are the papers? Not only that, they're admitting that they have a rule, a regulation, where this clerk, Eddie Hayes, had to log this package. It had to be logged, it had to be forwarded to the U.S. attorney who I guess will be in charge of the case, and it was not done. So it is reasonable to believe that somebody, a high-ranking official in the Department of Justice, has told this clerk to not to log this package and to misplace it, or destroy it. So what I'm asking from the judge is to grant my motion for default judgment, summary judgment, because I did provide hard proof that indeed it was received by the Department of Justice, and also to set a hearing, an administrative hearing, and order this clerk to appear as a witness and provide information to Judge Lamberth, who until now was the chief judge of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. He's currently on a senior status, but he is still presiding on my cases, to provide this judge with information. Who told him not to log this package? Who told him to make it disappear? And I also provided judge with evidence that we have a de facto RICO, racketeering, influence, corrupt organization, where a number of federal officials and officials in the state of Hawaii are engaged in this racketeering scheme, where the documents for Barack Obama simply are destroyed, or they're being altered, they're being fabricated, and this needs to be investigated. I also asked the presiding judge to look at the precedent that he himself set, and that was a case against Hillary Clinton. When Hillary Clinton formed a healthcare panel, she claimed that only governmental officials were part of the panel. And this was a lie. In reality, there were special interests involved. And when Judge Lamberth found out that her aide and attorney Ira Magaziner lied about it, he sanctioned him $300,000. And he also forwarded the case to then Attorney General Janet Reno, and he sought a special prosecutor. And that's something that we might need in Obama case, because we know that Eric Holder will do nothing. We do need a special prosecutor. to be appointed in this case. He also forwarded this to Eric Holder, who was at a time the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, seeking from him criminal investigation and criminal prosecution of Ira Magaziner and others for fraud and obstruction of justice. So I've asked the judge, actually in this case, and in Astro case, to do just that and follow the precedents that he himself set. So I'm hoping that finally we'll have one judge that will have some conscience, some moral values, something that would speak inside saying, hey, this fraud, this crime has to end right now, right here. So I will keep you updated as to what Judge Lamberth will decide and what other judges will decide in 6 or 7 other cases that are going on right now dealing with Barack Obama's fabricated and stolen IDs. Further, of course, I wanted to provide an update in regards to the debt ceiling. And, you know, when Barack Obama is saying that not giving him more money from the U.S. Treasury and basically from us to spend when he reaches the debt ceiling will cause this nation to have his credit rating downgraded, that this is a serious problem. It makes as much sense as somebody saying, you know, if there is a fire, if we just take down the fire alarms, we will solve the problem. Those debt ceilings are the fire alarms that are saying to the nation and the world at large and the financial community, we have scoundrels with no moral values and no integrity sitting in the top positions of power. They're spending like there is no tomorrow. They're looting the treasury, and in order to cover up for this looting, they're raising taxes and they're impoverishing the whole nation. There is a serious problem there. So not raising the debt ceiling does not solve the problem. Kicking the can down the road does not solve the problem. There are other things that need to be done in order to solve the problem. And therefore, as we know, at least this agreement provided something. As you know, Barack Obama wanted $1 trillion to be given to him to raise debt ceiling for a year. And this did not happen. He was given about 3.5 months until the next date for when he hits the debt ceiling and would have to cut his spending and work out some plan. So we need to push and we need to be vigilant in saying, hey, you just kick the can down the road, just 3.5 more months, but changes have to be done. Keep in mind, today, U.S. government have 500,000 more employees than it had during Clinton administration. It had, I believe, about 1.8 million, and now it has about 2.3 million civilian employees. And did any of you feel that we don't have enough federal bureaucrats during Clinton administration? Did you really feel the shortage of those employees? I didn't feel it, and I don't think anybody did. And the first thing that needs to be done, he has to lay off unnecessary workers. And it's about 500,000. He needs to cut the staff of the federal government, and starting with the White House staff, which is bloated. There have to be cuts in his own spending. And we know that the salaries of federal employees double. Salaries and package are double what it is in private sector. In what the free market sets for similar positions. So that's where cuts have to be made. So I'm asking everybody, all of my supporters, please call your congressman and demand that something is done in terms of real cuts. There is a commission that is being set. We know that it's going to be Patty Murray, a senator from Washington, who is going to be negotiating as a first step with Paul Ryan, a congressman from Wisconsin. And what does Patty Murray and Democrats want? They want to suck more money out of us, more taxes. And the thing is, there has to be an end to it. They cannot tax us till no end. As it is, we work from January 1st until sometime in September to pay federal taxes, probably half a year we work just paying federal taxes and then state taxes and Social Security. And now what I call breathing tax, which is the Obamacare. I mean, we're being taxed just for breathing, and local taxes, school board taxes, you name it. So, people might decide, I think, if they want to raise any more taxes, so we work till October in paying all of those taxes, we might just decide to take a vacation from January 1st until October and then start working. That will solve the problem. It's unconscionable. It really destroys the economy when you tax people more and more and more, because you take away any motivation to work, to start businesses, to start innovations and so forth. So this is not an answer. You have to cut your spending. Barack Obama needs to start by cutting his and his family's trips. It is unconscionable for him to go on trips of $100 million, like he went last trip to Africa, but then cut $1 million on security so American citizens cannot go to the White House. That has to be part of what Republicans will be demanding. Now, next, of course, the Democratic Party mafia is attacking the Tea Party, of course. And the most arrogant, the most unconscionable has been an article in Business Week by Bloomberg Business Week. And I do believe that it is time for Tea Party members to speak up, to respond. It is time for Ted Cruz to respond. Let's respond to Michael Bloomberg. What are his accomplishments? He was probably the second most immoral politician in this country. In his short tenure as a mayor of the city of New York, he doubled the debt of the city of New York from 55 billion to 110 billion. That's unconscionable. And what will happen? Well, inevitably, taxes of people residing in New York will be raised in order to pay for this spending by Michael Bloomberg. And I believe that Ted Cruz should show how unconscionable and immoral are actions of people like Michael Bloomberg, of people like Barack Obama, of Harry Reid, and the rest of the Democratic Party mafia. It has to be shown. Next, I believe the Republican Party needs a new leadership. We have had the leadership by John Boehner, and sadly, he just sold out. Both Boehner and McConnell sold out the last moment. McConnell got about $2.2 billion of an earmark for his state of Kentucky for Olmert Lock power station. God knows how much of this 2.2 billion is going to end up in his personal bank account or in bank account of Lamar Alexander, the senator from neighboring Tennessee. Those kind of earmarks do not happen for nothing. So what did McConnell do? He basically was bought with this $2.2 billion, and in exchange, he basically gave Obama and Reid and Pelosi and Durbin and Schumer and Box and this whole mafia opportunity to loot $1 trillion. And let's not forget that even though this debt ceiling was extended only till February the 7th, which would be, at the usual rate of squandering, it's going to be about $375 billion of additional debt. Don't forget that Democrats refused to agree to a cut on special measures. We know what those special measures are. This year, special measures from May 17th until October the 17th ended up looting over $500 billion from the Pension and Disability Fund of federal employees. So what will happen after they will loot $400 billion in additional spending, that will go to those special measures, and that's going to be another 500 billion. So it will end up being the same $1 trillion of additional debt. And of course, pathological liars and domestic abusers, like my Senator Barbara Boxer, is going to lie to people saying that Barack Obama is cutting spending, while in reality, he's not cutting anything. It's just more and more looting that is going on, and that needs to end. Further, um, uh, as you know, there is an unwritten Hastert rule, and this is the rule that was kept for quite some time, saying that the Speaker of the House, if he is a Republican, for example, should not put to a vote something that is opposed by majority of his party and approved by majority of the other party, because he effectively becomes a Democrat. And of course, we know that in Senate, Harry Reid would never put to a vote something that can pass with majority of the Republican Party and only a few moderate Democrats. He would never do it. It's basically, you win a House, be it a House of Representatives or Senate, you get to, as you say, if you want to dance, the one who pays for the dance gets to choose the music. And Democrats do it and Republicans do it. And that's what Boehner was supposed to do, and he just sold out. In the last moment, he made a decision to vote with the Democrats and give Obama more money. If he were to hold on for just a couple more hours, Republicans would have scored a huge win, because they could have shown to the whole world that this default that was threatened by Obama was nothing but a fraud. It was a made-up emergency, and they could have shown to the public that this passing the debt limit does not cause default. Spending causes the default. And of course, this opportunity was lost with Boehner, and that is why it is so important to vote for somebody else who hopefully will not sell out. Further, what is important is for Republican Party to stop being on the defensive. They have to go on the offensive. Look at the Democrats. What are they doing? They're pushing the most unconscionable programs. For example, the immigration reform, which is nothing but a mega amnesty to 42 million, estimated 42 million, not 11, 42 million in reality, what we have illegals, to become Democrats, card-carrying Democrats. And they couldn't care less about the fact that Americans are losing their jobs and their wages are going down. They want more voting Democrats to get into positions of power so that they will have a license to steal. That's what it is. And therefore, the Republican Party needs to go on offensive. Keep in mind, as long as Ted Cruz and Mike Lee were on offensive and talking about hitting the debt limit, Obama and Democrats couldn't push for amnesty. Now, as they got more money, they can bring amnesty to the forefront. What Republicans need to do, first, they have to give Boehner an ultimatum. Listen, you cannot sell out anymore. We will kick you out. They have to start the process. Even if they do not kick him out, the embarrassment for Boehner will be so big that he will think twice about selling out on amnesty. Let's hope he's not going to do it. Further, they have to bring their own agenda. For example, balanced budget. Nobody's talking about it, and that's something that we do need. Remember Contract with America that demanded balanced budget. This is something that actually gave Republican Party the votes. Remember when Tea Party just started its work, that's something that gave the Republican Party votes. I think it is time for the Tea Party members to bring forward legislation. Don't vote, don't even bring to a vote this huge amnesty bill. Bring to a vote a bill seeking balanced budget amendment. Bring to a vote yet another bill seeking to change welfare with workfare. And don't be afraid. Welfare recipients, 99% of them do not vote for Republicans. They are the Democratic Party voters. So don't be afraid that you're going to lose their votes. You don't have their votes anyways. However, if you are bringing forward this demand of changing welfare to workfare, where people have to work for the benefits that they're getting, guess what? That will energize your base. That will energize the middle class. That will give you more votes. And if it ever passes, that will switch the people who are just sitting on welfare, doing nothing, watching opera and getting free housing and program aid, free food stamps, free education, free healthcare, free Obama phones and everything. That will change their perception. That will change their behavior because they would have to work. They will appreciate. Put them to work in housing for poor, for people like them. Send them to work on a farm in creating this food that they're getting for free with food stamps. They will appreciate what they are getting. So this is important. Bring your agenda forward so that the media will not be talking about mega amnesty. Forget mega amnesty. Don't even bring it to the floor of the House. Talk about balanced budget. Talk about workfare. Talk about delaying Obamacare individual mandate. It's still there. It did not disappear. Talk about cuts, serious cuts in Obama spending. Bring discussion to the forefront. And another issue that I know many are afraid to bring forward because they're afraid of the ruling oligarchy, but it has to be brought forward. Talk about rescinding NAFTA and WTO GATT. Those agreements killed 28 million American manufacturing jobs. This is the agreement that was signed by Clinton. That's his baby. Not only we have to end Obamacare, which is Obama's baby, we have to end NAFTA and WTO GATT, which are destroying the U.S. economy, and that's Clinton's baby. Not only you will defeat Obama, you will defeat upcoming run of Hillary Clinton. So that was Taitz report for October the 18th, and I hope you have a very nice weekend. Thank you.